Ooh, yeah.
You know,
Yeah, I wonder how much of those they printed. Yeah,
yeah,
maybe one for each of his missed field goals.
maybe.
Be quite a few.
It
That's a
might
lot.
be, it might
We'll
be.
see him at
So,
Ross. He was
yeah.
what, number four? One. All right, welcome back, everybody, to another wonderful episode of Banter on the Rocks. Got myself Tim here today, as well as John. And we are on episode 54 now. And first order of business, before we move on to the topics of today, of course, we want to talk about our brand ambassadorship with Find the Good brand. Find the Good is focused on the good and building a community of people who want to help find the good. For all purchases, Find the Good gives back 10% to Mental Health of America organization. And when you order, be sure to use promo code BANTER805 and you'll receive 10% off of that purchase. So it's 10% for you, 10% back to mental health. The mission for Find the Good is simple. Find the Good is here to get you through the bad days, the breakups, the ups and downs, and whatever else stands between you and a smile on your face. And today is Tuesday, September 9th. This is another Tuesday in a row. My fault. Had an emergency at work I had to take care of last night. But Tuesdays, hey, we're still here. We're still doing
Yep.
it. This will be weekly. And on today's show, we are going to discuss our banter takes. We have some NFL talk. Week one just occurred. Might touch a little bit on fantasy football in there too. And then we're going to discuss some more UFO, UAP stuff that is becoming recent news once again. And of course, much more. Going on to our banter drinks of the week, I will get us started. Today is some good news. Me and John were just talking about it. Jake motherfucking Moody has been waived. Don't know if he
Hmm.
waved back. I don't know if it was that cordial as he headed out the door and his card didn't work to get in. But thank God, the way he missed those field goals this week. We'll get more into it, I'm sure.
Hmm.
But joyous day. The stress of getting in the red zone and not getting a touchdown is over. I hope. Eddie Pinheiro, I think, is who we have
Yes.
replacing him now. And in such news, of course, the title of my drink is going to be Mood Swings. Mood Swings
Nice.
up. We're going up. In honor of Jake Moody. Shout out Jake. Hope you do something else. I don't know.
Mhm.
But salute, and cheers to Mood Swings.
Nice. It's a good name, and yeah, the moods for 49er fans, I think, are going up. A lot of them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So,
Definitely. Good news.
but yeah. Well, we'll talk. We'll touch and talk more about that, later on our show. But today, not doing anything alcohol related. I feel like I was getting under the weather, so I've been taking
Uh-oh.
some medicine, trying to fight it off. But
Good
like,
for
like I
you.
said, another plug. But like I said, we're not partnered with them. We're not brand ambassadorships, but still a brand I enjoy. Taste Salud. Those electrolytes, the immunity one. It's the hydration. I have it here. I have it by my side all the time. Hydration and immunity. Great. I feel like it's been helping me just get over whatever flu bug, like not having to miss work, not having to miss anything. So, I don't know if it's a placebo effect with Taste Salud, but great tasting, great hydration, and just staying hydrated. So that's what I'm sticking with
Hey,
today.
that's good. Glad it's working out. I need to try some. I saw another ad. I know you've been doing some ads with them. I saw another ad. I think they're in brick and mortar stores, not just online now. I think you can
Yeah,
find them in some retailers. So that's pretty
yeah,
cool.
yeah. You can find them in retailers. Price wise, it might be a little bit more expensive on retailers. Check
Sure.
out some of my TikToks. There's some sales going on TikTok right now, so check them out. But like I say, I enjoy it. Like I say, if you like those hydration sticks, just overall. Te Salud is a great one with that, Hispanic flavoring that they do. Um, what's the other one? Oh my gosh. All the hydration sticks that are out there, like I said, and it's a weird conversation that we're gonna have right now. They're all pretty good. They're not all bad,
Hmm.
but some of them have more electrolytes, some of them have more calories, more caffeine. Um, Another one I like, I don't think you went to Armando's bachelor party, right? 2 years ago?
No.
No.
In Gaslamp? No.
No, that was Chris's.
Oh,
Armando's
there's
was in
Chris's. Got
Vegas.
it. Oh, got it. Yep. Nope. Nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah, but for that one, I had, like I said, this is another plug. They're getting all the free plugs today.
Hey.
Water Boy hydration sticks, and that one helps
Oh.
hangover. So I took a whole pack. Everybody there had one before we went out drinking, when we came back from drinking, and it really helped us just get through Vegas heat plus Vegas drinking excessively. It's been crazy.
Hey. Yeah. Just those little things can help a bunch. I have some in my I think there's like Crystal Light is another one
Crystal
that a lot
Light's
of people
another
really
one.
liked. Liquid IV
Liquid
I've
IV,
gotten
that's the one.
from.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I have quite a few left of those. I bought like
Yeah.
the Costco bulk pack of them, and
Hmm.
midday during work, if I'm, hitting a lull after lunch or something
Hmm.
like that, they're a good little pick me up,
Yeah.
kind of refreshing, gets you going.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I say, water's great. I drink so much water, but every now and then you just need a little bit of that flavor, and it gets you away from the soda, that bad caffeine, things like that.
Yep.
I don't drink coffee. I drink
It's
a
good for
lot.
you.
I used to drink a lot of Coke, don't drink tea. So I try to do more water, hydrate these hydration, Salud, Liquid IV, whatever I could get my hands on, and try other things. So, um, yeah,
All right.
that's a little conversation with our banter drinks to talk about,
Hey, it's a
these
good topic
hydration
though.
packs. Yeah,
Health is
but
important.
we'll go into our banter takes, and as always, we'll also go live on TikTok um during our recordings to sort of have people join us, um banter with us while we're here. And as always, our banter takes, if this is your first time, um, banter takes are takes we give each other. We drop them, we share with each other without us ever seeing them, and we're going to defend them. There are takes until they get proven right or wrong. Some of our takes are going to be bold, some are very outrageous, some very accurate, but they're always going to stir the pot, and we're going to go with it until proven right or very wrong. So we'll start with our banter takes, and then Tim sent me his. Um, so my first take, in the next 2 years, we will see a TikTok creator win an Oscar. Um, yeah, it, it's something that could be possible because a lot of these TikTok creators are getting very creative with their skits, their content, and some of the quality that they do is better than some movies. Some of the transitions, some of the AI, some of the graphics, everything they use, it's great. And some of them are really funny, some of them are really serious, and they're good at it. The one TikTok creator, he might have a little bit of controversy right now, but his skit that he did recently was one of the most creatives and crazy makeup. Drewski. Did you see
Oh
his
yeah.
NASCAR?
Yeah. No, he did kind of like whiteface in a way.
He did whiteface, and,
Yeah.
and like I say, I have some feelings about it, but like I say, I look at it from a comedic, and how he did it. What I liked about it a lot, the person that did the makeup for Drewski was the person that did the makeup for the aunt in Weapons, the movie. So the
Oh,
blockbuster movie. So that's what I read
whoa.
somewhere. I need to look into it more. It might be fake news, but there's a lot of them that are doing great things. Great work. You're seeing them in movies. Not big roles, but starting to build up. One person I could think of, like an old Vine creator, King Batch. That guy started in Vine,
Hmm.
and he's done movies. He's had big roles, so they're starting to get up there. And there's going to be a time where one of these guys breaks out and sort of could win an Oscar, even for, a short film, something like that. Um, so it'll be interesting because, like I said, there's a lot of creative TikTokers out there that I enjoy watching, have great content, and like I say, great quality videos.
For sure. Yeah. No, in I feel like it's becoming a lot more relevant because like you said, a lot of the short kind of film content
Mhm.
on TikTok is getting really good. One person I want to shout out that I've sent you a few clips that he's kind of gotten to the suspense horror side of things
Oh
is
yeah.
that Brody Wellmaker guy.
Yeah.
He started off, I think, with totally different content. When I first started following him, I followed
Hmm.
him, I think, during COVID times. He's probably one of the first people I started following on TikTok.
Yeah.
But lately, he's really kind of taken a different, phase into filmmaking, but his
Yeah.
horror side that he has,
Hmm.
some of the shorts are really good.
Yeah.
Pretty much all of them. And, just I guess like the theatrics, the time that he puts into it,
Hmm.
he's going to get a call one of these
He's gonna
days.
get a call, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like his creativity levels, really beyond, quite a few.
Hmm.
So, that's one guy. There's another one. I guess they're kind of, I guess, a channel that they coincide with called, I believe it's Friday Beers, is kind of like their
Okay.
thing. There's one guy on there, I believe his name is Angus. He just got put onto a show, a
Okay.
sitcom is going to be on cable. He's
Hmm.
another guy that's kind of up and coming as well. And then I think that there is a girl who I think her name might be Victoria or something on
Okay.
TikTok, and she just got cast on SNL.
Hmm.
So there's quite a few big names, and I feel like that this is kind of the stepping stone, which, with your take, maybe in a couple of
Hmm.
years we're going to see somebody kind of have, an Oscar-worthy
Hmm.
performance in a film, as these chances kind of increase. And you brought up King Botch. He's another one. Timothy De La Ghetto started
Hmm.
on YouTube back in the day, and then he went
Yeah.
on Wild and Out. He's gotten a lot of opportunity. So,
Hmm.
there's quite a few names from the YouTube side of things, and then going into Vine, TikTok. I just think it's bound to happen. So I think
Yeah.
that this take is super relevant.
Yeah, it's bound to happen. We might maybe see an Emmy first, for a TV show, because I think that's where a lot
Hmm.
of them are starting to go, TV shows.
Makes
You
sense.
start seeing them, even some of these comedians, because like I say, one of the best comedies. I don't know if it's nominated for an Emmy, but Tires, with Shane Gillis.
There you
That's a
go.
guy that wasn't as big, had controversy, but one of the top comedic, people out there right now, and his show also Tires, one of the funniest shows, you know, out there at the moment. So it'll be very interesting because it seems like a lot of people are looking at TikTok, trying to get ideas. Because you see it once there's one video that blows up, everybody copies it, and it's always those people that are very original that make the first video, and everybody just sort of banks money off of it. So,
Hmm.
like I said, people are very creative, doing creative things, and it's exciting to see a bit. I think short form is a way that it's going to be very successful, even though some people say it's not going to be. But I also like I say, me, I'm still a movie fan. I don't mind the 2.5 hour movies. I don't need something just short. I could sit for quite a while. So my attention span's still pretty good.
Yeah, no, that's great. I mean, it's what keeps movies alive, but it's just I think a lot of the younger audience, kind of like you mentioned, short films, things like that. The attention span is much more minute. That's why people
Hmm.
love TikTok so much. That's why people liked Vine so much is,
Yeah.
those short, little
Hmm.
different, types of, video shorts that,
Yeah.
people are obsessed with. So, um, yeah, maybe we'll start seeing more
Hmm.
stuff like that become a little bit more relevant and maybe the start is TV shows,
Yeah.
shorter form, it's easier for them to adapt to. So
Hmm.
yeah, makes a whole lot of sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, lots of opportunity, especially with, Netflix streaming platforms. I feel
Yeah.
like the likelihood of getting picked up by one of them is, certainly a lot more likely now.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you have to start getting creative. I think being a little bit more original and something people haven't seen, it's what's gonna it's what's gonna be more successful in the upcoming years of filmmaking, TV making, because a lot of the stuff that people are using is the same concept. The comic book movies, still great, but like I say, it's sort of losing its pizzazz a little bit. Not many people are interested, even though I like Thunderbolts, I thought it was a great film. There's a lot of people that didn't like it, didn't get the best reviews, and a lot of people are just sort of over that comic book type movie. It's sort of like, just they're just done with it. Superman was another one, that probably didn't do as well as it should have if it was like pre, what is it, phase one of Marvel,
Mhm.
and Avengers. So I think the creativeness is what's going to be bringing a lot of great creators, a lot of great movies up in the next few years because people are getting away from that.
Yeah, definitely. I think superhero movies, you brought up superhero fatigue.
Yeah.
That's definitely setting in with a lot of folks, but hopefully, yeah, Superman still did really well. I
Hmm.
think that there's a lot of hope for DC going
Hmm.
forward. And I hope that they can. I don't know if there's any plans for it, but like superhero shows, bringing those back again, kind of like they did on Netflix for a
Hmm.
while. I thought like The Punisher, for example, I thought that was
Hmm.
super
Yeah.
entertaining. They haven't really continued a lot of those, have they? Not
They've done a few. It's been a lot more Disney doing it,
okay.
because of the Marvel. They brought back Daredevil, which I
Yep.
haven't seen yet, but I heard it was great. But then, like what Disney has done with those TV shows of the comic books and also even like Star Wars, they bring out like one good show, but then they throw at you four shows that are just uh to okay or
Yep.
really bad. And that's what sort of pushes a lot of us away. Like, I haven't really watched any of the Marvel TV shows because I forget which one was the last one I watched that I was just like, I'm not into it. Even though
Yep.
I hear some good things about it, some great cameos, some great Easter eggs for future Marvel movies, I'm like, I'll just watch the clips because watching the whole TV show is just, they've sort of pushed me away from it.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like the last ones I got into was the Loki, I thought was pretty
That
good
was a
way
good one.
back when.
Hmm.
And then God, what is it? She's kind of like the witch. I can't think of her name.
The WandaVision.
WandaVision. Yeah, and I thought that one
Huh.
was pretty good.
That was pretty good. Yeah.
But I think I feel like that's where it kind of tailed
Hmm.
away for me
Yeah.
was kind of with that show.
Hmm.
Kind of got cheesy a little bit at times, but I did really enjoy Loki and then
Yeah.
everything kind of up to that point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you nailed it. Like
Hmm.
it can be a little watered down after a while. You have one good
Hmm.
one, four really bad ones.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
And it's
consistency.
how are you gonna bring people back after four real bad ones? Because like I said, She-Hulk, I wish it was gonna be better. It's just a great character, and
Hmm.
I did not like that show. Character still may come out, hopefully they do her better. But it just wasn't a good show. Star Wars after Mandalorian, some of the others, Obi-Wan was decent. It
Hmm.
missed a lot of places. I think what was memorable about it was like the old Darth Vader, Obi-Wan Kenobi, fights that they had and bringing
Yep.
back Anakin, like a younger Anakin flashback. It's what really got some people into the show, but the show overall just wasn't that great. But then Andor was the one show that I think is saving Star Wars at the moment.
Hmm.
So it's like, they give some bad ones, but then they give you some good ones, and that's what we hope.
Hmm. Yeah. And, kind of circling back to the whole topic in general, I think that's where these creative TikTok minds come into play. I think a
Hmm.
lot of maybe the producers, directors, writers that are in these positions with Disney or
Hmm.
Netflix, they're kind of one-trick ponies at times. And I think what TikTok, social media influencers, stuff like that can bring to the table is a lot more, differentiating type of,
Hmm.
film or ideas, because
Yeah.
they have to be creative in order to stay relevant.
Hmm. Yeah. Well, like I say, sort of talking about TV shows. You've been, and I texted you a little bit. The Paper. What are your first
Yeah.
thoughts on The Paper?
So I'm almost through the third episode now.
Okay.
Really surprised me, man.
Yeah.
Honestly, I feel like I didn't have much hope for it because nothing in my eyes. nothing will ever beat The Office. The
Yeah.
Office is by far and away my favorite show of all time.
Hmm.
But I really do feel like they did a way better job with this than I thought.
Hmm.
I I, I think overall, at times I'm kind of catching myself where, okay, this gentleman is Stanley. Oscar's
Hmm.
obviously Oscar.
Yeah.
Who's trying to be Michael Scott? Who's trying to
Yeah.
be Jim? Who's trying to be Pam? But
Hmm.
I feel like I tried to tell myself don't do that
Hmm.
because you're trying to compare it too much to, The Office, even though
Oh.
they're correlated and things like that. But I'm trying to watch this
Hmm.
on its own versus, much correlation with The Office in general. And I feel like that's helped a lot. One person I've read about online that I kind of share similar feelings to is it's Esmeralda, right? I
Yeah.
I, I think she's a little annoying. I find her a little obnoxious at times, just her character.
Hmm.
I know she's there to stir the pot, be obnoxious. Mission accomplished. Mission
Yeah.
accomplished in
It.
my eyes. You know, um, but at times, yeah, I think she's a little annoying. Um, but overall,
Yeah.
funny show so far. I think it's pretty good. What do you think?
Yeah, I've liked it so far. Funny show. I try not to really do what you did, sort of try to see who's who from The Office. I just sort of
Yep.
took it as it is. Like I said, what I liked about it is it connects it to The Office because I was always curious, like
Mhm.
how are they gonna do this, or is it just something totally different? And if you haven't seen it, watch the first episode, how they connected to The Office. It's hilarious what happened. Bringing back some people from the past, office just at the beginning of the first episode talking
Hmm.
about it, bringing back Oscar, that was hilarious, and
Vance from
how
Vance Refrigeration.
Vance,
Bob
yeah,
Bob Vance.
yeah, how Oscar's still on the show even though he doesn't want to. It's funny how they sort of put it all together. And the new characters are pretty funny, I think as you get, because I think I'm on episode 5, it gets
Okay.
a little bit better, Esmeralda still very annoying. I think it's just the way she plays her character is what sort of gets you. But I think that's the whole purpose of her character, like you said, to stir the
Yeah.
pot, to just annoy you, and just it's sort of just like that triggering thing, factor, and that's what they're looking for, you know.
Yeah, exactly. I'm kind of getting like a little bit of Sofia Vergara
Yeah,
feel with the character, which,
yeah.
again, like you mentioned, it's exactly what she's there for. It's
Hmm.
what her character is.
Yeah, but overall, I think it's great so far. I'm enjoying it. I think they did well. I think it's already renewed before the first episode even came out, or all episodes are out, but before it even came out, renewed. I think for season 2 and 3, I think it is.
Wow.
So there's a lot of promise.
Hmm.
I never know how to say his first name. Domhnall Gleeson. Pretty funny guy. I
Hmm.
know he had his bad take, in Star Wars, having that character a lot of people hated, not really a fan of,
Hmm.
sort of hurt his career, but I think this is going to help him come back. And
He's
then
Ned,
Melvin,
correct?
yeah, Ned Sampson.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And then Melvin Gregg, like we talked about, a Viner, TikToker that we would always see
Yep.
now on a pretty big sitcom show and, doing pretty funny. His characters, has its moments.
For sure. Yeah, no, and that's what I appreciate is all the little quirks to it. The characters have
Mhm.
really kind of built themselves through at least even the first three episodes
Yeah.
altogether. Um, they had to bring, some Brits into this, of course,
Mhm.
with
Yeah.
obviously the original Office being based in Britain, it's been good. I feel like, the
Mm.
character base is honestly
Yeah.
phenomenal. I feel like they've done a good job with that, different spin on things.
Yeah. So yeah, but overall, great show. I've enjoyed it. Let us know if you guys have seen the paper. What are your thoughts? I don't think it'll over rank as high as The Office, but it's there as a funny comedy.
For sure. And you know what? I was thinking about it too, John, because when I started displacing myself, like, stop comparing this to The
Yeah.
Office. This is its own thing, even though there's correlation. I feel like this show is a little bit closer to a Parks and Rec for me,
Hmm.
almost.
Yeah.
I get a lot of vibes from that too. Just, you have God, what's his face? Main male character in Parks and Rec. Can't think of his name right
Ron
now.
Swanson.
No, no, sorry,
Or
not Ron. The other gentleman.
oh
He's in Secession, I believe,
yeah,
or
yeah.
yeah. Can't think of his
It's
name right now. I'm
no,
blanking.
I'm blank. Yeah.
I'm terrible with names at times. But anywho, I feel like he is really close to Ned because,
Hmm.
they come in, they assume these big roles
Yeah.
and, kind of work their way through it and then but appear brighter than
Hmm.
somebody like Michael Scott. No, no, no shame on
No.
Michael Scott. Lovely guy,
Yeah.
lovely character. But yeah, I just feel like there's a little bit more correlation in that
Yeah.
sense. Which Parks and Rec top three
Hmm.
for me. It's right
Yeah.
up there with like How I Met Your Mother's another one for me.
Yeah.
But I feel like I'm seeing a lot of correlation with that too.
Yeah. What if season two they sort of bring in Parks and Rec and it's all one universe?
Oh, dude, I think that'd be super sick. And they just start combining because
Yeah.
it's all NBC Peacock, right? Even
Hmm.
Parks and Rec.
Yeah.
Do it, man. Oh, it would jump the ladder for me. It
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 would.
would it would compete.
Yeah, it would compete. So yeah, we'll see. Like I say, continue watching it. I've enjoyed it. Still got a few more episodes to watch, but it's been good.
Yeah, no doubt. I like it. Alrighty. John sent me over his take. My next take, I should say. Will Smith needs to take a note of how Ricky Martin made a comeback. He performed at the VMAs, and it was one of the big highlights. And if he announces a tour, everyone will be going to it. Yes, Ricky Martin, his comeback, like you said, through the VMAs, kind of came out, started performing a lot of his hits, if I'm not mistaken. I, how many years ago was that now when he did that?
The
Ricky Martin?
uh Sunday.
Oh Jesus, who was right really recent? I didn't even watch it. I thought he did that like a long time ago because
No, it,
I
it
feel
was
like
Sunday.
Ricky Martin kind of came back. Okay, well, hey,
Uh,
relevant new news. My take here, guys.
yeah.
Um, no, but again, much better approach than AI. I
Hmm.
think that's the easiest thing to say. Will Smith, even after our take, we sent some photos to one another, John
Hmm.
and I. And I know one of them was, Will Smith performing on stage. Obviously it was even more disclosure that how much
Yeah.
AI was used because somebody panned the crowd and crowd was non-existent. I think it was like two rows of people watching him on
Yeah.
a stage.
Yeah.
And, you have Ricky Martin coming out performing at the VMAs. Obviously, that's a big stage. He's, kind of
Hmm.
make a grand announcement and that's an actual crowd. And
Yeah.
honestly, I know we joked around with get jiggy with it, but if he came out and started bumping that like in front of a big crowd, people will get into that.
Hmm.
People will kind of vibe with it. If he came out and started singing the
Yeah.
Fresh Prince, theme song even,
Yeah.
and then started twisting that into different songs, I think it would be great. Much better announcement, much better leeway into things than just AI is great, but it's not where it needs to be to fake a crowd.
Yeah. No, yeah, I think what Will Smith needs to do is what Ricky Martin did. And like you say, you go out in the VMAs, play get jiggy with it. People are gonna have a great time. It's gonna get a great reaction, hopefully. And that's how you sort of start a comeback, because Will Smith, honestly, I wasn't even that aware that he wanted to go back into making music, wanted to go on a concert. I think before the AI, debacle that he had, there was a video of him sort of performing. I think it was in like New York, in the middle of a crowd, and nobody was really bumping his music. Nobody was really excited that he was there singing. So it's like you need to find a way to make yourself relevant. People see you, people like you, and then start from there. I think what Ricky Martin did, everybody's talking about Ricky Martin, how he looks, how he performed, and it brings back those nostalgic memories of when we saw him 20 plus years ago, 40 plus years ago. If you saw Ricky Martin and his little boy band when he was younger, Living La Vida Loca, the World Cup, there are a lot of memorable times of Ricky Martin that it just made us think about that before he would probably announce a tour again, a comeback tour or just, one final tour, whatever he wants to call it. But Will Smith, after his slap, you haven't really heard much from him, and then him trying to throw himself into selling out venues. And that one video you shared, I think a lot of comments were like, well, that was mic check, it was mic check that's why there wasn't many people. Who
Hmm.
knows? Because we never saw another video of the whole entire concert with everybody filled in.
Right.
It could have been mic check, it could be something else, who knows? But it's like nobody is really aware of you. You did something that a lot of people still frown upon, aren't happy with you, so you gotta find a way to win the graces of all the people, and it's doing something like MTV Movie Awards. It's doing something like we mentioned it, SeaWorld concerts. It's doing something like trying to get into Coachella and just performing there because there's a lot of people at Coachella, and hopefully someone listens to you because T-Pain got a lot of views and got a lot of probably Spotify downloads after his Coachella performance, and that's what Will Smith sort of needs.
For sure. Yeah, no, absolutely. He needs to engage an audience, which is not
Mhm.
what he accomplished by putting a bunch of AI out there.
Yeah.
Because yeah, you can't get an AI audience to show up in real life.
Yeah.
That's step one. Well, yeah, to follow. Again, Will Smith can still be seen as an icon,
Mhm.
of course. In his, in his life, he wants to come out, make more music, great. But yeah, much better ways to do it. I think Ricky coming back onto the stage doing it this way is
Mhm.
freaking awesome. But I think another thing that, Will should consider is, I don't know, trying to collaborate also, trying
Mhm.
to get some of the, I guess, more modern artists
Yeah.
with him. You mentioned T-Pain. T-Pain does a phenomenal job of that.
Yeah.
T-Pain, will go out, he'll collaborate, he'll feature himself in plenty of things. He's on TikTok live often, sampling people's music, listening to what they got. If somebody's lucky enough, I'm sure that he'd give them an opportunity to collaborate. But I feel like that's the way to connect with your crowd. And,
Hmm.
again, the thing we remember most, like you mentioned, is that Chris Rock slap.
Hmm.
And besides that, he hasn't done much to kind of build up a re a coming back to life of in
Yeah.
the music industry. It's kind of like, oh, this is out of nowhere. you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. So I saw it. Vera showed me, it was like, hey, Ricky Martin's making a comeback. I was like, oh wow. I was like, and watching them performance, watching everybody dancing, because like I said, everybody on the crowd was dancing. You could see Ariana Grande like groove into it, and you see Ariana Grande liking something, everybody's gonna like it.
Yep.
So it's like you need that sort of celebrity support to sort of make it seem like you're back in, even though, like I said, if he would have been there doing get jiggy with it, you know, people would be dancing, and it's just a good look for you. It's like, okay, he's so popular. This celebrity that I'm, listen to likes Will Smith. Let me start listening to Will Smith for the younger audience.
Yep.
Not have fake AI kids holding up signs, that probably never heard your song or and is it real, you
Yep.
know. So it was interesting when I saw it. I was like, Will Smith should have done this type of route for him to start his little comeback tour.
Makes sense. Yeah, and I guess the Grande clips that I was seeing this past weekend make sense now. I was
Yeah.
wondering what those were from. And she was giving like these exaggerated kind of like, reactions to things. And
Yeah.
I guess some fans were kind of like, it's not. I don't think it was regarding Ricky Martin. I think it was maybe another performance that happened.
Yeah.
And she was like overreacting to it or
Yeah.
something.
I
Um,
think the performance is the Tate McRae performance.
okay.
If
Okay.
you haven't seen it, it's there. Viewer discretion is advised.
Oh,
It's
wow.
very it's not like rated R, but like there's like
Yeah.
TikToks of like young little boys watching it and sort of like in the trance watching that video, watching the
Oh,
performance
geez.
because
Gosh.
and you could only imagine now what
Right.
might be going on, but like great performance, honestly, like great song,
Yeah.
so um but yeah,
If
it
Will
was
Will if Will needs a reaction, just hire Ariana Grande though.
yeah,
You know.
yeah. Hey, like I say, her fan base is so big that you gotta respect it. It's the same thing. if Taylor
Right.
Swift was there and Taylor Swift was jigging, dancing to your song while you were out there, Taylor Swift fans would sort of be like, all right, we support Will Smith. You know,
Hmm.
if Taylor Swift was just drinking her drink and not really engaged, it's like, nah, we're not supporting you. So it's like
Right.
you need to get those buy-ins of these, loyal supporters.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, engage an audience, get an audience. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, but yeah, it was the VMAs Sunday. It was interesting. Like I say, it was after I kept on seeing the announcements, after the football game, watch the VMAs. So
Yep.
it
I have a
was
question though. This whole conversation kind of sparked a question for me, John. Is there any retired artists that you would like to see make an actual comeback?
so when you mean retired though, is it like they haven't brought out a new album and just sort of do like all their classic songs, that type of thing?
Um, yeah, something where they could like retour or drop a new album, just somebody you'd like to see become more relevant again, whether it's a tour, whether it's a new album, uh, fresh hits that like feel
Mm.
like it's the first time you're listening to them.
That's a tough one because there could be quite a few. Like I said, I think T-Pain would be one, you know.
Hmm.
And like I said, I think he has a good start with the Coachella. Another one, Lil Jon. That's
Yeah.
one that hasn't brought out anything new. I think he still goes out to DJ at events. I think he does like Las Vegas DJing gigs, but doing his own tour, coming out with new music, probably collabing with a lot of those old artists as well and bringing out new songs would be good. Yeah, I'm trying to think who else. Maybe when I one that just came up in my head. I don't think it'll ever happen, but LMFAO.
Okay. Yeah.
That one, they always
Yeah.
had great, dance hits and they were funny. The music videos were funny. I know they sort
Yeah.
of broke up, but that'd be a cool one to sort of see them get back together, reunite and have that tour.
For sure. I agree. Yeah, no, they were a fun band for sure. It just speaking of Lil Jon,
Yeah.
I follow a Bay Area rapper called La Russell. I think
Hmm.
that's how you say his name. But he's up and coming for sure.
Hmm.
Like he's already been getting a lot of attention. And he recently collaborated with Lil Jon
Oh,
on a
nice.
song. So check him out. It's L.A. Russell, La
Oh, yeah.
Russell. And I follow him on TikTok. I think his stuff is really good. He brought Marshawn Lynch out to Cal on the football field, and they drove around the golf cart like
Oh,
Marshawn did,
nice.
and had a music video. So I thought that was pretty cool. But collaborations, bringing it
Hmm.
back. It was great to see Lil Jon. Great to
Yeah.
see him. So I think that's a great choice. Uh, for me. 50 Cent would be one. I always enjoyed his stuff.
Hmm.
Eminem, seeing a little bit more of him again would be
Hmm.
cool. Um, I think of who else is out there? T.I. really enjoyed his stuff back in the
Yeah.
day. He featured a
Hmm.
lot of people on his albums. I was a big fan of his. Um, who else? Who else?
And
Just to
Nelly and
name a few.
Ashanti maybe come out with a new song
Yeah,
that
there you
they're
go.
officially a couple.
Yes, yes, yeah. I've been seeing a lot of them,
Mhm.
getting back together again. So that's pretty
Oh,
cool.
no.
Yeah, there's a bunch out there. I
Mhm.
feel like just to name a few, I don't know, whatever I can do to even Jay Sean
Jay Sh-
would be, somebody. Yeah,
Yeah,
what's
that's a good one.
funny, what he's been getting a lot of relevancy lately, I feel like on social media, especially because with Mafiathon, with
Hmm.
Kai,
Yeah.
they started jamming out to Jay Sean Down
Hmm.
at like 5 a.m. And kind of going crazy to the song. And honestly, whenever I hear that song, just the beat and the build up, like, yeah, it's just
Yeah.
good vibes. Takes me
Oh, yeah.
back.
Yeah. No, yeah, those would be good. But yeah, there's a lot of people I think if we could have them do a comeback tour or just
Yeah.
come out again, make new music, I think we could list quite a few people. And anybody listening, watching this, let us know who do you guys want to see make that comeback tour? Because it's fun. Like I say, Ricky Martin brought back memories, brought back World Cup memories for me.
Yep.
Vera said, her as a kid, her sister listening to it. So it's like there's these memories, and like I say, Will Smith could do that, but he just did it the wrong way, and that's why nobody's really talking about it. Because if he did it the right way, I'd be like, yeah, I remember Men in Black, watching the movie, doing the little dance, wearing the glasses,
Yeah. Yeah. Just the two of us,
hmm
his remake on that song was phenomenal back in
Yeah.
the day. I used to really like I brought it up last episode, the Wild Wild West song. I
Well,
used
let's
to
say,
really like that movie. And that song would get me kind of hyped when I was young. It
uh,
was just, I don't know, it's good vibes, good song.
yeah.
Will
hmm
Smith was the shit back in the day. He still can be.
He still can be,
Just
yeah.
don't use AI, man. Use it in
Yeah.
different ways.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, that's a take.
That was
Do you
the
have any
only one I
other?
had for you. No, that was the only one I could think of.
All
Sorry.
right. I'll send you another one. Just,
Okay.
I think it's another good one, especially with week one of the NFL.
Excellent. All right. The Oregon Ducks have had the best jersey in sports that the NFL took two styles for their rivalry jerseys for Seattle and Arizona. Yeah, I Oregon has always dominated the jersey game. Like
hmm
just their partnership, obviously, with Nike, Phil Knight,
hmm
has given them kind of a step above everybody. But from their metallic helmets to, those neon yellow, green
hmm
colors that they had, the designs were always crazy. They even had like an all gray uniform jersey that was super sick. The all black is really cool. You name it, just all of their colorways are freaking awesome, from the helmets to the shoes to the pants, the jersey. Yeah, I think taking a handout from them, you're just kind of uh you're kind of just going for something that, might as well follow the leader. I feel like altogether. Speaking of NFL jerseys though, without copying the Oregon style, is the way the Niners presented theirs. I feel like the Niners are bringing back the older style, like
hmm
digits, the numerals. Man, absolute fire. I think those drop tomorrow.
Okay.
I'm planning on buying one. I just don't know what player I want to buy the jersey after. Um, but again, like if you get a good jersey, like there's no shame in copying, and kind of making your own
hmm
with your own colorway, your mascot, your
Yeah.
team, and just taking things based off of that. Because like this take says, Oregon has always had
hmm
the top tier
Yeah.
jersey.
Yeah. No, Oregon's always done it. You think they have some Jake Moody ones that will be on sale, Tim?
Ooh, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
I wonder how much of those they printed. Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe one for each of his missed field goals.
Maybe.
Be quite a few.
It
That's a
might
lot.
be. It might
We'll see
be.
him at
So,
Ross. He was
yeah.
what, number four? I'd
Yeah.
have to look up at other number fours and try to get it real cheap,
Yeah.
and then just put somebody else's name on
Yeah.
there.
Someone else's
Tape
name
it.
on
Yeah. Who's
it.
number
Yeah.
four?
No, yeah. But yeah, there like I say, I think this take has we're not trying to shame these teams for sort of taking the Oregon style. We're just sort of putting it out there that Oregon Ducks have the best jerseys ever. The colorways they do, the designs, because when I saw the rivalry jerseys, all of them are pretty solid. But when I saw Seattle's, I was like, that looks like the Oregon Duck one. Exactly. Sort of like the wings on the side, the silver. That color. And I was like, okay, well, Seattle, Oregon, all pretty much neighbors, so makes sense. But the Arizona one also looks like the Oregon one, where it's just like it's sort. I don't- I think Arizona's making it look like a sandstorm or something, but I think Oregon
Hmm.
was sort of like paint splatter or something on their jerseys. And like I said, they did it a few years ago first, so it's like you pretty much took the exact same style as Oregon, and I think they're all Nike, so it makes sense. It looks great. That Arizona jersey looks great, so I'm not hating on it, but I'm just saying Oregon's on a class above any other team and coming out with jersey styles. Whoever is designing this, if it's someone in Oregon, someone at Nike, or a little collaboration of both, gotta give that guy a raise because, like I say, top tier. I think their jerseys this year they sort of look back at the old mascot like logo look and like the that like green like color, the green and yellow looks pretty good.
Yep.
I've always liked the Oregon jerseys.
Yeah, they're sick. You can't go wrong with them. The all metallic helmets are super dope.
Hmm.
I mentioned those all gray uniforms that they had. I
Yeah,
thought those were freaking awesome. I think it
yeah.
was like black numbers, something like that.
Hmm.
Those were sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, you looking it up right now?
Yeah. Yeah. So, and there's a lot of people say that that's the reason why a lot of people go to Oregon is because you want to rock those jerseys. You want to have that in your
Yeah.
name. Yeah, but the green with the yellow numbers, the duck logo on the side, like I just like that look. It's
Yeah.
almost like that Irish green that they have for Notre Dame at times.
Yep.
But yeah, and then the green helmet, like I said, Oregon's always a class above.
I completely agree. What they have like 50 million different combinations
Yeah.
and every one looks good. Like I don't think there is
Yeah.
a bad one. They're just all just look legit. And I like it when they bring back like the original mascot, to it also and just bring back that retro vibe. And
Yeah.
that's what, Seattle should consider too is bring back like the retro green that
Mm-hmm.
they had back in the day. And kind of go from there.
Oh.
Looked at I remember looking at the Cardinals one. That
Mm-hmm.
one didn't stand out quite as much to me. I thought the paint splatter was kind of,
Yeah.
it's a look for sure. But the ones I liked the most was, trying not to even be biased. The Niners one
Yeah.
just looked so clean. And then I really liked the Miami Dolphins.
Mm-hmm.
And then I also liked the Buffalo Bills. I thought looked super sick
Yeah.
too. Especially with, mixing in the snow background to,
Mm-hmm.
the preview video of it. I thought
Yeah.
was super dope.
Yeah, the Bills logo on the side for that jersey looks really good.
Yep.
I saw somewhere that they ranked the 49er one pretty low because they're like it just took a lot of the old classics and just mashed it up together. But I'm like,
What we
it
want.
it it looks clean with the black.
Yeah.
I think with the black, the red, the old Niner numbers, it just looks clean and solid. Like I say, if there's a Niner jersey I would buy, it'd be that colorway.
Yeah, in that's the reason though, John, why so many people like Dodger uniforms
Hmm.
is it's so classic.
Hmm.
You have the blue, you have the white,
Yeah,
and that's pretty much all you need.
yeah,
There's a touch of red in there too, right?
yeah.
Um,
The numbers.
it's classic.
Hmm.
You can say the same thing about Notre Dame, say the
Hmm.
same thing about, I don't know, Michigan, Penn State.
Hmm.
Like those are just classic uniforms where you just don't need
No.
to do a damn thing to them.
Yeah.
And, today I saw a video on just NFL jerseys, how a lot of people have adopted the
Mhm.
Nike jerseys, except the Green Bay Packers. And it looks more mesh. And I guess they use like a local retailer in
Oh, really?
Wisconsin for their
Oh, man.
jerseys. And they're the only team that does it. Maybe they're grandfathered into it that they have the prerogative to do that. But they
Maybe.
showed, and I kind of noticed this too, watching Micah Parsons' debut this past week,
Hmm.
you could see like, his pads underneath.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, that looks way more meshy than
Yeah.
anybody else's uniform. And I think
Okay.
I might be wrong on this, but I think they kept the Reebok uh, kind of
Okay.
manufacturing to it.
Maybe.
And it's classic. Honestly, don't do a thing
Yeah.
to it. I just think it's what they need. It's
Yeah.
okay to be classic.
Yeah.
You don't have to, go crazy unless you're Oregon. Oregon can pull it off.
Yeah. You have to be creative and you have to be good at it to pull it off because there's some teams that always try to do it and it just doesn't work well. And I think Green Bay sometimes have gotten the heat, because they also had that blue and yellow one that just looked horrible.
Yeah.
That
Just like the
one.
New York Giants, too.
Yeah,
What was it,
Giants.
last year or the year before? Man, they had that like turd brown
Oh
color
yeah,
or something. Oh, it was so ugly.
yeah.
It was so bad.
And it's like Oregon will probably be able to pull something off with like a turd brown color, but it's
Yeah.
only some teams can, only some designs can. You know, Green Bay, I think they're always just gonna have to stay to the classics. It's what's gonna help them. But that's interesting. If they're not using Nike and sticking with Reebok, it makes sense, you know. But that old classic look, the mesh, reminds me of like the 70s, 80s when
Yep.
those players that had the crop top jerseys playing.
Yeah. They would end up with like a ripped jersey by the end of the
Yeah.
game almost always. And yeah, dude, those things would just
Yeah.
like I remember like Doug Flutie at Boston College.
Hmm.
That's such a classic clip with his Hail Mary.
Yeah.
And just those jerseys, man, it looked like if they celebrated too hard, it would just
Uh,
tear. You know?
yeah. What would you say is one of your top, and like I say, it might not be your team, but one of your favorite like jerseys of a team in the NFL? Past,
Current,
present,
past, present.
current, past, present, whenever.
That's a good question. I'll stay away from the Niners. I'll stay away
Yeah.
from the Niners. Um, I really liked from the helmet to the jersey. I really liked the 80s, 70s, 80s Rams. I
Okay.
always
Yeah,
thought
that's a good
like the
one.
way that they had their horn on the
Hmm.
helmet with that classic. I like when they brought it back when Todd Gurley was there, Jared
Yeah.
Goff, and they kind
Yeah.
of brought back those colors. I thought those were super sick jerseys.
Yeah.
I really liked the Steve Largent
Hmm.
Seahawk days.
Yeah.
I thought those are super dope. Um, I'll try to give a third. It's a third. I really like. I don't know. I think the Dolphins can be kind of cool
Hmm.
throwback jerseys
Yeah.
as
Yeah, no,
well.
and the Dolphins are good. I like the Rams. One that I have always liked is the red Patriot one with their old
Yeah.
logo. Just
Hmm.
the red just looks solid for some reason. I don't know why I like it so much, but it's one, and it's not even because I'm married to, into a Patriot family. It's just a nice. I just like. I don't know why the color looks good. I like when the Bills do that red too, because the Bills have had that
Hmm.
red jersey as well. So. That's one I've enjoyed. I like the creamsicle
I
Tampa
was
Bay
gonna
one.
say that. Yes, I
Yeah.
was gonna bring that up if you like that one. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a good one.
the creamsicle one, it's solid. It's different, but it's solid. Fiddle like this, the Charger, the navy blue one, that's their best
Thought about
jersey.
that one.
Like I said,
Hmm.
that's one that if they should keep beer around, it should be that jersey.
The navy or powder blue?
The navy.
Yeah.
I like the dark navy. The powder blues are nice too, but I like the navy ones better.
Yeah.
With the navy helmet, the yellow lightning bolt, like
Yep.
that's the one I like the best.
I really liked the powder blue Oilers back in the day
That was
too.
a good
Those were
one too.
pretty sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, those were good. Man, there's been a lot of good ones. Did you ever like the Falcons red?
At times I did. I think I liked
Hmm.
it a bit. Uh Another one I'm thinking about right now, and it's just because I played it when I played Madden, the all white Bengals.
Yeah, those are sick.
Those are
Yeah,
nice.
those are cool.
Yeah.
Their helmets are just really cool.
Yeah.
Just the tiger stripes. Yeah, those are
Hmm.
badass helmets.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you
Yeah.
could rank like jerseys and then you could rank helmets as well.
Yeah,
You know?
because some of the helmets, like I say, you could do a combination of them, you know. Because yeah, I'm looking at our rankings, you know,
Hmm.
the Raiders Color Rush, the all white one, that's pretty solid. Like I said, Raiders are also a good, solid old school jersey. You
Yeah.
can't hate. The Titans, Oilers powder blue one. That's number
Yeah.
three on this ranking.
Remember when Jacksonville went a little crazy with theirs a few years back?
Hmm.
They had
Yeah,
like a zillion different combos
yeah,
when Bortles
it's,
was there.
yeah, it's bulky. It's a bulky decision.
Fucking Trent.
I don't know if it
Check
is.
out the edit though.
Yeah. Yeah. If you haven't seen Tim's edit on bulky, go for it. It's hilarious.
I had to
If
put
you're
something out there for him.
yeah. But yeah, yeah. And then the Dolphins throwback. That's always a classic one. That color, the colorway, the orange, the teal, the white. Nice. With the old school logo with the dolphin with the helmet, you know.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Super cool. Yeah, no, those are honestly, I feel like we could go through every team and find something cool. I
Yeah.
really liked the purple Randy Moss back in the day. I
Hmm.
thought that was a solid color,
That was a
just
good
the
one.
indoor stadium feel and
Yeah.
yeah, but there is some boring jerseys, there's some terrible jerseys out
Hmm.
there, but top top three all time is got to be those turd brown Giants.
Giant
They're
ones.
so ugly, dude. Those are
Yeah,
like they're like weren't they brown and yellow?
I think so, something like that.
Yeah,
And like I
those look like
say, it's I don't know. I think it's like an old school, probably like AFL. But I was like, this is one you guys shouldn't have brought back. Should have done something else. Just done the black jerseys again. Those were always solid.
yeah. No,
So
they were just so ugly. But yeah, no, I like the rivalry. It's I think that these rivalry jerseys are going to be cool to see.
yeah,
Um, yeah.
no, yeah, but yeah, that's those are our hot takes, our banter takes. As always with banter takes, let us know, what you think of them, agree or disagree. Let us know in the comments, respond to them, what your thoughts are. And as always, like I say, we enjoy the banter on all our platforms. So join.
Yes, join.
Yeah,
Let us know if you want to hear a topic us talk about.
yeah,
Don't
for sure.
hesitate. Profit.
But yeah, we'll go on to our next, just segment in NFL. Week one's in the books, and we were
Hmm.
excited. Happy that football's back. A lot of great games. Um, you want to take it first, Tim, or you want me to start off with my little vent session? Because
Yeah, no.
I know you were supposed to be venting first, but then after the news earlier today, it sort of changed from vent to celebration.
Yeah, I was gonna bring a tearaway shirt, something that, I could just rip in two. But problem solved. He's
Yeah,
gone. So
he's gone.
hence the mood swing beverage
Yeah.
of the evening. Really stoked on that. But no, I'll give you the floor, John. I'm
Yeah.
curious to see your thoughts on Sunday Night Football.
Sunday Night Football. Well, what I will say about Sunday Night Football, great game. I think one of the better games of the week. High scoring, entertaining, but hated the outcome. Ravens losing it after pretty much dominating the whole game. And the few takeaways for me, Ravens, we need to start learning how to close out games. It's not the first time this happens. It's like fourth quarter, our team just sort of steps off of that gas and everybody just sort of destroys us. They come back and then our offense sort of just buckles under that pressure because like I say, Lamar was having a great game. And they still had great games. They had great numbers. Zay Flowers, phenomenal game. We talked about it. The wide receivers stepping up. Um, DeAndre Hopkins, big touchdown grab, in his first target, showing why we brought him here to sort of help with those situations. But us letting the Bills come back and you can never count out the Bills. I think AI, we talked about what AI, if AI knew ball, it looks like AI knows ball, because it looks like Josh
Mhm.
Allen could be MVP the way he sort of brought this team back on Sunday. I played him in one of my fantasy leagues and he destroyed me. I was winning and we're facing Josh Allen in this week and I'm a little scared because Josh Allen won us the league last year and if someone would take him number one, I would not argue it anymore after
Mhm.
seeing how he puts up points and what he does for this team. So, uh, overall, pissed, not giving up on the team. It's one game. Hated we lost the Bills out of all the teams because we lost that tiebreaker, This is a team that we might be able to still catch up, trying to get that first, second place home field advantage, and the Bills have the tiebreaker over us. So it's gonna hurt if we end up with the same record. But I think what I saw from the team, I liked. We have a great offense. I think our offense is gonna be unstoppable. It's our defense just has to get it together. And we have a decent defense. We don't have a bad defensive team. We just gotta find ways to close out games. Defense stopping all the runs, stopping the passing, and making dumb mistakes. That's a big thing. And I think the last thing, Stavi sort of brought out his little rant, and I'm gonna agree with him. We got to trade for Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco had a decent game. Let's bring him. He will be our closeout QB because he knows how to close it out. Super Bowl winning quarterback, and um, let's get back there because I think we still have an opportunity. I'm not closing anything out. It's one game, but it's just a disappointing loss because it's a big one against a contending team.
For sure. And I'm going to hit you with another hard-hitting question. I know this is week one, John, but with Lamar Jackson,
Mhm.
are you are you reaching a point now where you're beginning to doubt if he can win the big games?
No, not yet because I think. It's like I say, you got to put some of it on Lamar, but I also think it's the play calling. The play calling was very conservative. I
Hmm.
think there were times they had to call different plays. You know, I I need to see a little bit more. If I see two, three more games where we're winning, defense is giving up, but then the offense can't, extend the drive, run out the clock, and he just struggles and buckles under pressure, then yeah, it's a Lamar thing. Just that
Hmm.
pressure. And it's still a combination with coaching because, like I say, I don't think Lamar makes all the calls. Those calls get told to him. That's what they're gonna run based off their statistics. What they're doing, but I still have faith in him. And like I say, it's because what I saw the first three quarters, he looked unstoppable. His running, his passing, like I said, the weapons, we have them all there. Like I said, we have a solid team. It's just we got to close out those games.
I completely agree. I know you guys lost,
Hmm.
but I feel like you guys still dominated that game.
Oh yeah.
It's just so weird you guys lost. And just how quickly that happened. It
Hmm.
only took, a couple turn of events.
Hmm.
Derrick Henry has not lost a step. He is an
Hmm.
absolute beast.
Hmm.
Just an absolute beast. Sure shot Hall of Fame. And I just have zero doubt in my mind that guy's a Hall of Famer. I mean,
Yeah.
he just, took another step up on, all-time rushing
Hmm.
touchdown with like 106.
Yeah.
And he's still bolting off big runs, making it look easy. His stiff arms, he can make it look nonchalant and just put somebody straight into the ground. I
Yeah.
mean, he's just absolutely insane. And then to pair him with, an even stronger wide receiver core, I think the one thing is Mark Andrews was non-existent,
Hmm.
and then Isaiah Likely, I don't remember him getting much action, right? Or is he hurt?
I think he was out. I think he's
Okay.
recovering from an injury. So,
Okay.
yeah, Mark Andrews not a big factor. Who knows if Lamar's just sort of iffy with him after the few crucial drops he had at the end of the season. Um, but like I say, Zay Flowers stepped up. He has a good connection with DeAndre
Yeah, great
Hopkins.
game.
That big catch. Um, Bateman, I don't think I saw too much, but like I say, the run game was their strong suit, and they did well. Like I say,
Hmm.
a costly mistake that would never happen to Derrick Henry majority of the time of that fumble. He's always holding on to it strong. I know he's probably in the lab right now, finding ways to sort of cement that, hold that like a cement,
Yeah.
that everybody could you could punch it as hard as you can. It's not even going to move, and he'll find a way to avoid that happening ever again.
Yeah, he's probably holding him so tightly that he's deflating the football slightly.
Yeah,
Like he has that
probably.
much strength. He's just an absolute beast. But yeah, overall, I feel like, again, you guys dominated the game. I really don't think that there's much to worry about with the Ravens at all.
Yeah,
The Bills are freaks in it of themselves. We brought this up last week.
yeah.
Just Josh Allen has that, I don't know, LeBron James effect
Hmm.
where, I know that we kind of crap on LeBron, but he's brought some really
Yeah,
atrocious rosters to
yeah.
NBA finals.
Hmm.
Josh Allen kind of does the same. Without
He
Josh
does.
Allen, the Bills suck.
Yeah,
Let's be honest. They
yeah,
suck. He is a humongous difference maker for them.
yeah.
And I'm looking at their wide receiver core, Josh Palmer, you have Gabe Davis that's on practice squad that might be called
Hmm.
up soon. Keon Coleman had a good game. I
Hmm.
think we kind of expected that.
Hmm.
Keon Coleman kind of having a
Yeah.
good sophomore year. But tight ends stepped up well. But
Hmm.
again, nobody like. Diggs isn't there anymore. You
Hmm.
don't have these overpowering names really there. So he's doing it, he's giving it his all. James Cook, I thought had a good game
Yeah.
as well. He had some good receiving numbers in there. But outside of him, the run game, Ty Johnson, uh, Davis didn't really do
Yeah.
much. But yeah, both teams are incredible. But then, a big thing that I kind of wanted to leeway into here, John, was just the lack of offense altogether across the
Hmm.
league. It really sucked. I mean,
Yeah.
I've had several conversations with, people I work with, other friends, part of our friend group. And, it's one of those things where I feel like Colts, it was Ravens, Bills, and then Colts were predominantly most of the offense this past week.
Hmm.
Chargers, I think, showed some offense.
Yeah, they did.
But other than that, pretty underwhelming. I think that, the Eagles, okay,
Hmm.
I don't think there's much to worry. Again, it's week one, but it just felt really underwhelming. It felt like kickers were getting the most work out
Hmm.
of anybody. Punters were certainly out there getting good debuts.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's defenses are, they've kind of stopped the ability for a lot of these teams to go pass heavy, and they need to find alternatives. But I guess another team I want to shout out would be, the Falcons and
Hmm.
Bucks. I thought that game was
That was a
phenomenal.
good game. Hmm.
Michael Penix, we talked about him being on our fantasy team. That dude,
Yeah.
good
Hey.
choice, Sean, to get that late.
Yeah. No,
Dude's
I
legit.
don't think anybody looked at him, and he's like one of the top, from a lot of like reports I see, one of the top waiver wire picks at quarterback.
Yeah.
Stash him, and it's like, nah, in our league, you can't stash him. We got him.
Drafted his ass,
Yeah.
and just his reach out with that, rushing touchdown he had,
Hmm.
he's dual threat. He has plenty of weapons
Yeah.
on that team as well.
Hmm.
Bijan Robinson had a phenomenal receiving game.
Yeah.
Run game with Falcons is a little rough. I think
Yeah.
that they could work on that a bit, but who cares when you can pass the way
Hmm.
that they do? And then other side of that ball was the Bucks. And shout out Egbuka. We talked about him from drafting him. He
Hmm.
was a sleeper pick of ours.
Yeah.
Again, even when we talked about him being a sleeper, we felt like he wasn't much of a sleeper because
Yeah.
he just has top 10 potential.
He
He
does.
he
Yeah.
is, probably going to be up there. I mean,
Hmm.
he already is with his debut having two big touchdowns.
Yeah.
Crazy. Step aside,
Yeah.
Mike Evans.
Yeah. And I saw a report where Mike Evans said, he wished he was mic'd up because Igbuka for that last touchdown was sort of asking for that post route. He's like, I want it, I'm gonna get it. And he got it. And Mike Evans being impressed with him and being like, man, that kid's there. Like that's
Yeah.
already saying a lot. So the Bucks, Baker had a tough game to start out with, but ended up pretty
Yeah.
strong. I'm excited about Igbuka just as a player because, like I said, I've been a fan of his. I've watched him in college. Thought he was a great quarterback. I think he got sort of outshined by Jeremiah Smith. His
Sure.
last year at Ohio State, and Smith is one of the top wide receivers right now. And it could
Mhm.
be a very high pick this coming year when he declares for the draft. But Igbuka was one of the most consistent players. And
Mhm.
Ohio State could be wide receiver. It's between them and LSU for wide receiver university. Because both those schools
Absolutely.
have produced great wide receivers.
Oh yeah, it's nonstop. It's just a
Hmm.
rotisserie of tremendous wide receiver talent on both
Yeah.
both schools. Yeah, that was an interesting game.
Hmm.
Um, it's New England Raiders. My pick looking a little rough right now.
Yeah.
But there's I do have confidence in them altogether. I think Drake May still played pretty well.
Yeah.
He had good passing yards in there. Diggs had a good game, caught a lot of receptions that kind of outperformed,
Hmm.
my expectations right off the
Yeah.
bat.
Diggs did well. Yeah. Yeah. And you sort of touched on it. It was a little bit of a dull week one for a majority of the games, not much offense. And it's sort of like what we said with college. We talked about it last week where Ohio State, Texas, it was a bad game overall play wise, and it's because it's
Hmm.
the first game. You sort of that refresh. Preseason doesn't do it because you barely play to play to I forget what you call it. But just to like a quarter maybe or something. But it's like after this first week they got the taste for it. So now they're going to be a lot more into it, and I think we'll probably see a lot more passing, a lot more entertainment on the offensive side. Because if you bet any overs this past week, you lost them all. All the
Hmm.
overs pretty much got destroyed.
Yeah. No, killed me in my props, minus the
Yeah.
kickers. That's why I brought them up. They did a great job stepping up. I guess some other teams to mention that did play well offensively. Steelers and Jets. That was another phenomenal
That was
game.
a good one.
Um, where Aaron Rodgers, I think he threw for 4 touchdowns.
Hmm.
Great debut, and I think that
Yeah.
was the best Steeler quarterback performance since Big Ben when
Hmm.
he was legitimate back in 2020.
Yeah.
Before he was just old Big Ben, and you know, kind of let's see if he can hang on to it, keep it going. But the Jets, I
Hmm.
think with new coaching. I think Justin Fields, a good change of pace for him.
Yeah.
He threw the ball really well this week.
Yeah.
Garrett
He
Wilson had
did.
a great game. Brees Hall ran the ball super
Hmm.
well as well. We kind of touched on Braylon Allen being a
Hmm.
threat and possibly taking over that role. Scored a touchdown.
Yeah.
That both those teams are a force as well.
Yeah. No, yeah, that was a good game. Justin Fields, I think we were pretty high on it. I don't think he was a sleeper for us, but we've just talked about him as this could be his comeback year. He needed that change from Chicago. Had that great pass to Garrett Wilson for the touchdown. I don't think a lot of people thought he had it in him. So
Yep.
we'll see what they do. Gotta remember, it's the Jets. It's still the Jets, so you
Yeah.
we gotta be a little, slow our horses a bit, but
Yeah.
still pretty good. Um, another New York team that I think needs a change, the New York Giants.
Yeah.
That team, they have so much promise there. Coaching is killing it. Russell Wilson should have been pulled halftime. Put Jackson
Yeah.
Dart in. I think he would have had more success. The play calling was horrible. You know, the coach, sort of not really paying attention to Malik Neighbor, sort of like brushing him off. I'm like,
Hmm.
you can't do that to your superstar. Like, I think coach needs to go. Joe Schoen, I thought he had his redemption with what he did with Jackson Dart, Abdul Carter, but I think you just need a whole change in New York to make them successful because they have the talent to be a good team.
Yeah, completely agree on both sides of the ball. The talent is there from the run game, receiver core. The quarterback room is honestly pretty good.
Hmm.
But I just don't think Russell Wilson has it anymore. He
No.
he he honestly after the season needs to hang it up.
Hmm.
Jackson Dart, like you mentioned, halfway through that game, a quarterback change was probably needed. Even if you don't want to throw Jackson Dart into a game like that,
Yeah.
throw in Jameis Winston.
Jameis Winston.
At
Hmm.
least, at least, he's gonna, go balls to the wall and
Yeah.
throw it wherever the hell he wants
Hmm.
and give you more of a chance. And I think Malik Neighbors would have loved that because he
Yeah.
would have had more opportunity. And I brought this up in our group chat. Just Russell Wilson refuses to throw the ball more
Yeah.
than 10 yards downfield. Refuses to do it. And it's
Yeah.
just, we saw this with the Broncos.
Hmm.
He's scared of it. He just doesn't have the arm talent for it
Hmm.
anymore. Again, I think that this is where, height and just elderliness is kind of playing a factor. You
Yeah.
lose one skill set
Hmm.
starts to fall, the dominoes just
Yeah.
fall altogether. And, that's kind of where we're at. But I think the Giants really do need to make a change quickly. That division's not winnable for them,
Hmm.
but they can still be better than the Cowboys,
Yeah.
you
They
know,
can be.
and if Dable wants to save his job, Schoen wants to save his job, don't they the leash needs to be ultra short. I know that they've already said no, Russ is our guy, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
You can't twiddle your thumbs on it too long.
No. No, it's you have to pull the plug immediately. Don't let it take a tumble, effect because it's just going to hurt you in the long run. Because like I say, if you don't make Malik Neighbors happy and make the changes that he probably knows, Jameis Winston, Jackson Dart are better options for him to get more of his catches. Um, and he probably also thinks, why do we get rid of Danny Dimes? Look what Danny Dimes did in Indianapolis. Like
Yeah,
that guy, New York apologized to Danny Dimes because that's why you guys paid him because there was that potential. It's just you have a shitty organization that can't really bring that out of that player. Just like the Browns can't do it out of Baker Mayfield. Just like I'll say it right now, just like the Bears might not be able to do it with Caleb Williams.
yeah,
Sometimes it's not the player, sometimes it's an organization that just doesn't know how to run, and you have to just start over.
for sure. Yeah, no, in you dropped the name. I do want to kind of dive into that Bears Vikings game. Caleb Williams started off that game looking really good. I
He
thought it was
did.
a new Caleb, and then just tailed off.
Yeah.
Was just turned into the same boring guy, overthrowing.
Hmm.
Just, he showed that he can run and be athletic and kind of go out the pocket. But
Hmm.
at times he just looks so lost
Yeah.
and doesn't really know, like, his options that are there. He had DJ Moore for a wide open touchdown. It seemed like he should have dropped
Yeah.
that one in there, overthrew it. They let the Vikings somehow just back into
Hmm.
that game when, after that pick six, it seemed like it was all but done.
Yeah.
The Bears' run game looks shitty.
It does.
DeAndre Swift, just big disappointment. You
Hmm.
know, um, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if there's much to do with the Bears. I think they're just kind of a lost cause right now until Ben Johnson can kind of work things out there. But on the other side of the ball, um, Vikings, surprising. JJ McCarthy
Yeah.
showed
Hmm.
a lot of heart, and I
Yeah.
think that he showed confidence, and there's something working there.
Yeah, there's something there. I was a little concerned the way it started because I was like, oh, this kid's gonna buckle. But that determination, that grit, he has it, because he didn't stop. He continued playing and he made great throws, he brought that team back and you got to give it up to him, the coaching. That coaching staff in Minnesota, I think we were ready to sort of bag on Richie. We beat him in
Yeah,
fantasy. We
I
were
kind of
gonna
did.
get we were gonna be so excited to do it with the Bears beating them, but they came back. So kudos to the Vikings. That team, JJ McCarthy, still want to see a little bit more out of a better team because, like I say, it's the Bears. Bears were also without some of their top defensive players, so they struggled a little bit on D when they play a top team. It might be a little different for the Vikings, but we'll see. It's JJ McCarthy's first official game, so good for that so-called rookie. um they look good, but yeah, the Bears, I'm still a Caleb fan, but I don't know if he is a legitimate top QB. I think
Hmm.
he could be a great journeyman, a great, quarterback to sort of help your team get to the place and eventually be a great backup. But starter, the way he looked, not able to scan the field that well. And when he does find those openings, he just panics and overthrows, underthrows. Because that should have been a touchdown to DJ Moore and they should have won the game. There's no way around it as a professional QB. You gotta hit that when he's that wide open. You can't overthrow it.
No, you can't. You can't. You can't be making those mistakes. Sophomore year, it's
Hmm.
time to really kind of step up and show what you
Yeah.
have, or else he's going to be on this Jameis Winston route. Top pick,
Hmm.
it kind of turns into a journeyman. Just kind of he's a little bit more careful with the ball, I'd say. To
Hmm.
an extent. Didn't throw any picks yesterday, but still inaccurate.
Yeah.
Still, seems a little lost in the pocket. I don't know. It's just something also not playing in his favor is just,
Yeah.
I guess, just the cockiness going into the
Hmm.
draft. Trying to be like, oh, practically choose your team,
Yeah.
want part ownership, not panning out very
No,
well.
not
Kind of
paying off right
embarrassing.
now. Not paying off right now.
No, no, not at all.
Uh,
But yeah, Bears, I don't know, take last place
mm,
in that division. NFC North is way too good
mm-hmm.
for really both of these teams.
Yeah.
I think Vikings finished third. I think Packers, Lions, top
Hmm.
dogs.
Yeah. Yeah. And right now that number one pick, I don't know who it would be because I don't think it's going to be Manning. Manning's struggling a little bit.
You
So
think he's hurt?
I saw some reports, I saw some videos where it looks like he might be having some shoulder pain.
Yeah.
So if that's the case, like sit him out, don't make it worse, don't aggravate it. And just put it out there, some shoulder injury, maybe he just needs to rest. And if he doesn't have a great year, he might have to just go back to Texas another year, wait till he's fully healed and show that he is a top QB to be that number one because he's losing some money. I think he's dropping right now. I think the latest mock draft I saw, he's probably going number four.
Okay. Still seems
So
high, to be honest with you. Because
yeah,
he's even against San Jose State, he's
yeah,
kind of underwhelming.
yeah,
I don't know.
yeah,
He had a good, what was that, 5 minutes, four
yeah.
touchdown passes. That was pretty
Hmm.
cool. But the wincing
Hmm.
during the throws was very evident.
Yeah,
Steve Sarkisian's playing that down a
yeah.
lot, though.
No, and I think he has to. Steve Sarkisian's had some bad careers and bad years, so
He has.
he knows what he needs to do to keep his job. So um, we'll see. But I think some of the other things for me, ChatGPT, like we said, knows its ball. ChatGPT knows ball. Tyreek, its little Tyreek trade, Casey needs it now. You know, Travis Kelce sort of taking out Xavier Worthy.
Yeah,
Rumor
a
has
big one.
it, he's mad that Taylor Swift was too excited about drafting him. um, so had to take him out for hopefully not the whole year because like I say, Xavier Worthy is a great player. But Hollywood Brown, we said it, not the guy. I think he is a top waiver wire pickup because he is the only guy currently, but he's
Yeah,
not going to be the guy there. And I
no.
think the way Tyreek is sort of some of the arguments I saw, in his first week in Miami, they just got to pull that plug. Send Tyreek. Let's see
Yeah.
what you could get back for him, pick wise, player wise, because Miami's going to be in a rebuild within this year. I think at the end of the year they're rebuilding. So I see ChatGPT's take of Tyreek Hill going to KC actually happening probably within the next few weeks.
Yeah, no, I can see that. I think the one thing that hopefully doesn't play a factor, hopefully it's, not much, but I read something today that Tyreek Hill was evidently being accused of domestic violence.
Hmm.
So I don't know if any of that
Yeah,
will cause a stir of things. Obviously innocent until proven guilty.
yeah,
But again, from football standpoint of things, all things said, yeah,
yeah,
Dolphins are a hot mess. We talked about this last week.
yeah,
Hot freaking mess.
yeah.
I'm glad you got your money.
Hmm.
Really happy you got paid.
Yeah.
Because nah, that ain't it.
It's not it.
And then McDaniels, he's not going to last much
Yeah.
longer. And then Tyreek, yeah, he's fed up. He wants out.
Hmm.
Casey's probably the destination for him now more than ever.
Hmm.
And then when Xavier Worthy comes back, he can learn because they're pretty similar ball players,
Somewhat. Yeah.
super speed.
Yeah.
Um, and then, you add Reshi Rice. I don't
Hmm.
know why we're talking up the Chiefs so much, John, but it's just an outlet that they need.
Yeah, like I say, and we're talking up the Chiefs. We always usually talk shit about them, but like imagine Tyreek Hill, Xavier Worthy on the outside, Rashee Rice in the slot. Who's
Mhm.
stopping that? Honestly, you
Yeah.
can't because they're gonna open up the field. You have to put two guys on Xavier and Tyreek. It's unfair. It's pretty much Madden on beginner mode. You
Yeah.
know, that's what
Yeah,
it's
for
gonna be
sure.
for them, and that's what they're probably gonna go for because. They need a win, so we'll see what happens. But ChatGPT sort of putting that take out there, I see it happening and could be true. So
Yeah. We feel bad for losers.
Yeah. Good luck on what was it, 14-2?
Yeah, good
Good luck.
luck.
You already want to know.
Good
Oh,
freaking
0-1.
luck. Yeah, 0-1. Those analysts
Yeah.
chose a win week one in
Yeah.
Brazil. So,
Yeah.
good luck.
Hollywood Brown is the guy, not.
Psych. Psych.
Yeah.
Raiders look good though. I mean,
Raiders
just
look good.
talking about the division, Broncos won.
Bron.
Broncos, Knicks needs to play a little bit better.
Yeah, I
Um,
think they'll get better. Like I say, it's the first week.
yep.
I think this coming week, this new week, we're gonna see a lot of these teams performing and really showing what they can really do. Some of these players, because like I
Yeah.
say, Drake May too. I think needs to play better. Baker Mayfield needs to play better. Uh, Justin Herbert, the Madison Beer effect, having the new girlfriend that's very popular really makes you better,
Yeah.
So, um, yeah, it'll be a good week, I think. And I think we'll end off our NFL news with the 49ers.
Hey,
Uh, uh,
we won. We won. Didn't play a factor. Didn't play a factor. My rant would have been much more, just out there, a little bit more crazy if
mhm,
Moody was still on this team. But with the news of him being released,
mhm.
phenomenal. Really just put me in a great mood for the rest of the day. Just totally changed my vibe because up to this point, Shanahan, I don't know what baggage he had on him because he was relentless with saying, no, no question, no question.
Yeah.
We're not looking at that. It's like, dude, anybody,
Hmm.
could be like, dude, yeah, your kicker's a problem. You could watch it for 2 seconds,
Hmm.
just be new to
Hmm.
football and watch him doink a 27 yarder
Yeah.
and be like, yeah, that's a problem because over the last this is his third season, right?
Hmm.
And over the last 3 years, we would get down to the red zone and we would always be hesitant to not maybe consider going forward on fourth. And you just can't have that.
Yeah.
Like you can't be, within, 10, 20 yards of the end zone and be worried about should I go for it on fourth or should it just be automatic and just get your points with the field goal
Hmm.
kicker? We had that problem
Yeah.
nonstop. From the Cleveland Browns game, he
Hmm.
doinked it to, you name it, just the inconsistencies
Yeah.
of PATs. A lot of people I saw recent videos of blaming, the kick return injury he had. Yeah, injury or not,
Hmm.
it's him. It's just
Yeah.
him. And I don't know if it was just too much for him to be
Hmm.
drafted in the third round, and then you're carrying all that weight on you, and it just turns into something that just isn't going to work out. Um, but quite frankly, great news. It needed to be done last
Hmm.
season.
Yeah.
I posted a video today with the Grinch doing a happy cry when his heart was growing 2 times big, and I thought it was super relevant to this whole situation. And somebody said as a Niner fan, it needed to be done. And my response to that was it needed to be done last year. Like
Hmm.
this is not something that should have even gone into the offseason.
Yeah.
I think people were way more fed up with him, not just the fan base, but players. Because there's a certain point where like you try to instill confidence in your kicker, but then there's a point where it's like it's a lost cause. It's just not happening.
Hmm.
It just can't happen. So,
Yeah.
um, hey, glad we moved on from it, but now we have other problems to deal with. Kittle goes
Hmm.
to IR today. He's out at least 4 games.
4 games.
Purdy's really questionable, evidently, for the next game, which kind of shocked me because he finished out the game. He looked
Hmm.
strong. He looked good. He had a great game-winning throw to
Yeah.
Tongus, which was a phenomenal catch.
Hmm.
Who's going to be a great fill-in for Kittle, I feel like.
Yeah.
And, now we're dealing with Juwan Jennings being injured. Pearsall had a great game.
Hmm.
McCaffrey is McCaffrey.
Yeah.
No limitations on him at all. He had so many touches that game.
Yeah.
Brian Robinson Jr. filled in when he needed to very well.
Hmm.
Jusic had a big play, but yeah, we're just gonna have to adapt. Just
Hmm.
Niners injuries are just they always happen. But one thing is defense is back.
Yeah.
With
That's it.
Saleh there, the D line played so freaking well.
Yeah.
Bosa coming up big at the end, recovering that
Hmm.
fumble. That D line is so freaking good. Like we're just absolute
Yeah.
beasts. And then to pair that with, Fred Warner at linebacker is just
Yeah.
insane.
No, that defense is good. There's no concerns there. It was solid. It's pretty much the old defense that you guys had when you guys were Super Bowl contenders. Offense, Jennings, I heard they did X-rays, no concerns, so probably day to day. So good news right there.
Hmm.
Pearsall, I think will step up. He had a decent game.
Hmm.
McCaffrey, I think it was 31 touches overall he had for the
Yeah.
entire game.
Yes.
So that's pretty much
Crazy.
the old McCaffrey. And like I say,
Yep.
good way to start. If you guys are winning, give some to Robinson Jr. Give him a little break. Don't push him too much. Because it's McCaffrey still. He has a history, but you keep him healthy. You guys are Super Bowl contenders, and then yeah, Purdy. Um, Want to see more before I take the system quarterback out of him.
No.
But
Yeah.
he did play well. He showed a lot. Hopefully he's not injured because like I say, I don't ever want to see injuries out of any player because it just takes away from the game of football, the competitiveness. So
Hmm.
we'll see. But overall, I think Niners did well. They won. The Kittle thing though is gonna hurt the most. Hopefully it's just 4 weeks. It's a hamstring, right?
It is a hammy, in not a good one. Hammies are
Yeah.
never good,
Mhm.
but trip to an IR is pretty severe. It sucks because he gets banged up pretty often.
Yeah, yeah, and the hamstring injuries, like I say, if you come back too early or push too much without it being fully healed, it's just gonna re-aggravate it, and you're pretty much out the rest of the year. So I think they
Yep.
got to play it very careful with Kittle. Like if it was me, let's see how we are after week 5. If we're 5-0, let's give him another break. Let's continue to let him rehab it, make sure he's fully ready. Because one lot, being 5-0, getting a loss, it's not going to hurt you in the long run. One loss, unless you
Yeah.
start losing a lot more. If you're 1-4, then that's a whole different story. You might have to bring him up because you need that type of player to support you. So,
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I could see Kittle coming back when Ayuk does, which would be what looks to be week 6.
six, yeah,
I think that makes a lot of sense. And then we face the Saints this week. So if Purdy has to miss a game,
it's
Mac Jones time. Let's see
yeah,
him. Let's
yeah.
get him
And
out there.
Mac Jones was always, he's a decent
Serviceable.
QB. He's serviceable. I
Yeah.
like him.
He's
So
fun. He's good. He's a good locker room guy, it seems.
mhm.
So and
Yeah,
and
so
Shanahan really wanted to draft him over Trey Lance. I will
yeah,
say that too.
yeah.
Yeah.
So now he got his guy for a cheaper price. You
Hmm.
you did have to give up a lot for Trey, um,
Hmm.
but yeah, no. Overall, happy for your Niners. Like I
Shout out
say,
Trey.
unfortunate. It's part of the game. Unfortunate to see Moody get dropped like this, especially as a third round pick, but needed to. He just wasn't serviceable as a kicker. Maybe a
Yeah.
change of location scenario might be the best thing for him because maybe the pressure of being a 49er and knowing you are a Super Bowl contender year after year was too much for him. So, there's some players that sometimes when they move, they come back. They make a good jump back into being a top tier kicker. So,
Yeah.
well, we'll see. Best of luck to Moody, but I think
Yeah.
49er fans, you guys are happy.
Yeah, maybe he can take flight with those eyebrows and go down to Australia football or something. Rugby. Reinvent
Maybe.
himself over there. I don't know.
You
Jake
could.
Moody.
Yeah.
Terrible Aussie accent, but he can go over there and have some fun. I don't
Yeah.
know. He's from up north, right? He's from Michigan, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe CFL's calling. Maybe
CFL.
maybe
Yeah.
XFL,
Like I say,
AFL, whatever.
I see him still probably coming back within, maybe going on a team this year if someone gets injured, trying out next year, training camp competition because he still has shown a little bit. It's just that consistency that he needs to sort of improve. But it's going to be hard.
You know who's most upset about this?
Oh.
Seahawks fans, Rams fans, and Cardinals fans.
Yeah.
They love seeing him come their way,
Yeah.
just
I
yeah,
think
no,
everybody did.
but I think everybody did. I think
Mhm.
everybody did. But See you, bud.
Yeah,
Eddie Pinheiro, step on up, and we'll have a. He was good with the Panthers last time he
yeah,
kicked.
yeah,
It's been a minute, but yeah, no, excited for Eddie to come
yeah,
on through.
yeah. No, and like I said, we called it. We were ready. We were ready to be out there for the kicking tryout.
Yeah,
Up north. I was ready, telling Vera, it's like, okay, I'm ready. If they have the open tryouts, I'm going out there. I'm already ranked #1, so it's a surefire for me.
easy work, right? And then like we were talking about it, we just have to start 27 yards out and
Mhm.
just nail it
Yeah,
consistently and be like, see, no problem.
no problem. It's easy.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. 27
Uh,
yard doinker, ridiculous. Pissed me off so bad. I was so
yeah.
mad when that happened.
I think everybody
Ah,
was. Like, I kept on seeing videos of Niner fans, and everybody was just like, no. And you can see Shanahan. I think that was his last little bit. Like, I think in that
yeah,
moment, he's like, you're out. But
yeah,
just didn't say it till today.
yeah. And I guess props to Shanny. I've certainly dished out a lot to
Hmm.
him, but the way he handled it was professional.
Yeah.
You stood by his side. He was cordial about it. And then I feel like the release news today was pretty subtle.
Hmm.
So except for us Niner fans, it was big parties,
Yeah.
parades, everything was good,
Celebrations.
celebrations.
But yeah, but that's week one. I think we covered everything. A lot of the big news, like I said, there was a lot more. Travis Hunter showing some promise.
Yeah,
Tank
Jalen
Tank
Carter.
Jalen Carter, Spitgate, Bigsby getting traded to the Eagles. Not sure what
Yeah,
that's about.
Travis Etienne, better,
Travis
I guess. I don't
better
know.
or just who is it? Bootsall? Maybe
Tootin.
Tootin. Yeah, something like that. Maybe better than Tank Bigsby. So,
Yeah.
we're trying to get something out of it. And then the one thing for me is like Saquon not fully healthy. Something happened,
Ooh,
because why make that
maybe.
type of trade? So,
True. True. Yeah, because their backup's pretty good.
Will Shipley did well when he
Yeah.
stepped
No,
in.
he ran really
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
Yeah.
So like I said, that's my question mark. It's like, what's up with Saquon? Because you wouldn't bring in someone like Tank Bisbee just for shits
Hmm.
and giggles.
Yeah. TBD.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens.
Hmm.
Digging up some info there, John.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Heard it here first. If
Trouble in
that's the case.
paradise. Madden
Trouble.
curse continues.
Maybe. Yeah. Like I said, they're
Hey,
staying quiet right now.
they are. Look at CMC last year.
Hmm.
He was on the cover, and here we are.
Yeah.
Man, it's not worth it. Don't
Yeah.
go on the
Not worth.
freaking cover. Wait
Not
till you're
worth it.
retired, guys.
Yeah.
Even then, actually, that's kind of iffy too.
Yeah.
You could stub your toe at home and, be like,
Yeah.
shit, there goes,
Yeah.
my retirement for a couple days.
Yep.
But yeah, no, NFL, so happy it's back.
Hmm.
Again, offenses were kind of underwhelming, but it's football.
Hmm.
And nothing beats it.
Yeah.
So,
Nothing beats it. So, but yeah, that's NFL talk, and then we'll sort of wrap up with some UFO talk because there's been a lot of news, UFO news recently. One of the things UAP spotted, and from what I read, and like I said, you could clarify it. We sent a missile to hit it, and it sort of just brushed it off like nothing. So, what do you want to share about this missile hitting
yeah.
or wanting to hit a UAP?
Yeah. So this UAP being tracked, direct hit with a missile. This was shared within the United States government
Hmm.
today. I guess today was a pretty big meeting because, I guess I believe it's Congress or the House wants to declassify a lot of these
Hmm.
documents regarding UAPs and make it more public knowledge because I think the general public, aka Banter on the Rocks, has a lot of questions about this stuff.
Yes.
From drones to plasmoids. We've covered it all here,
Hmm.
and we'll continue to do so. But I really actually appreciate this because I feel like it's bringing more footage and stuff, like what we saw today
Hmm.
with, U.S. military tracking something, hitting it directly with a missile. It looked like it
Yeah.
kind of split slightly, like little
Hmm.
chunks of it came off, but the thing just kept going. And it kind of looks like kind of like Flubber, the movie,
Yeah.
where it's just made out of like a weird like gelatin
Yeah.
type thing. And it's totally unearth-like. It's traveling at high speeds. Obviously, it's smart enough to keep
Hmm.
going, not kind of give in to things like that.
Yeah.
Um, I when I messaged you that video, John, I'm like, we're screwed because it's like if it's taking a missile, that's kind of, missiles are the best
Yeah.
things we got here on Earth. Like, it's not like we have crazy laser
Next to
beams.
nukes, next to nukes,
Next,
but that way we know what happens with that.
yeah, exactly. Then we're screwed.
Yeah.
Everybody, all of us. So, obviously nobody wants anything like that to happen, but it's just I don't know if any of those chunks that fell down, it looked like there's like it's split into three, and like if
Hmm.
they could collect, it looked like they were over the ocean, so that might be a tough
Hmm.
grab.
Yeah.
But if you could ever obtain something like that, which it sounds like there's potential that, some of these things that they found, uh, I guess they kind of dig up quite a bit
Hmm.
of it. I think a lot of the declassifying portions is recovery stuff
Hmm.
and kind of depicting like what the stuff is. Does it seem like it's from Earth? Does it seem like
Hmm.
it's, interstellar? Um, you name it. And again, there's a zillion different theories on it.
Yeah.
The ocean theory, where they're living in our oceans because they're vastly unexplored. There's like theories of Antarctica. Is it behind
Yep.
an ice wall? Is it, they're here, but we just can't see them? Are they
Hmm.
minute? Are they moving at speeds that we humans
Yeah.
can't recognize? You name it. Are they
Hmm.
camouflaged amongst us? Is another theory. So, um, crazy.
Yeah.
And it's just, I think what kind of hits hard about a lot of this is before, like growing up, it's like, you hear about movies,
Hmm.
conspiracy, like random conspiracies, but these are like film documented,
Yeah.
like legitimate, like the military is talking about this stuff and
Yeah.
they don't know what the hell it is. So that's where it's like, damn,
Hmm.
this is real,
It's,
real.
it's getting real. Yeah,
Yeah.
because if they're talking about it at Congress, it means it's real. It's not a movie. It's not Independence Day.
Yeah.
It's not Signs, which honestly, Signs looks feels like real.
Yeah.
But it's out there. Where they're at. We don't know, but like I say, I think those that have listened to us for quite a while, we're a big believer in space and aliens and that they're really living among us. So it's very interesting. It's scary to sort of see that because, like you said, missiles are next to nukes are our best type of weapon. And if we can't take down a UAP, what are we going to do when there's thousands, maybe upon millions of UAPs if that's the case? And also with this comet that's coming by right now, the Atlas, it's getting
Hmm.
closer and closer. Some of the new images showing that it's what I'm reading, what I've read, more active and even getting longer, which is just like
Yep.
what is it, And like I say, we're not like big space guys. We enjoy we like reading about it and we're very curious, but why is it growing longer? Why is it becoming more active? Why is there more, certain type of, elements on it showing that's different than other comets that have passed by before? Like, what are the explanations, And like what we said, it's going pretty quick. If for some reason it slows down when it gets closer to Earth, at at the closest point, it's something we got to be scared of because it means it is extraterrestrial.
For sure. The ongoing joke, though, is it's looking for intelligent life, so that means it'll fly right by us. Not care.
Yeah.
That always cracks me up whenever I see
Uh,
people say that. But a name that we've talked about for the last couple months here, John, is Avi,
mhm.
and his news and his theories are becoming so much more relevant. Like I
Yeah.
think TMZ has picked up his stuff.
Oh, okay.
I think main media outlets are picking up
Hmm.
his stuff. Um, Evidently, some of his newest information on it is that it's turning green, AI Atlas or three eye Atlas,
Three.
and I just think it further confirms that it's unlike anything
Mhm.
that we've ever seen here. I guess that they're saying, I think a lot of this newer information that's coming about is it has a lot of carbon dioxide on it.
Hmm.
So, which would mean life, right? Like,
Hmm.
a lot more potential for life, which
Yeah.
furthers his theory that it could be extraterrestrial.
Yeah.
It's something, something more. And I think he's even mentioned the potential of it having kind of like sleeper drones on it,
Yeah.
where like it could have things where it like splits off and starts just shooting
Hmm.
off these little sleeper drones that go throughout the galaxy as it's passing by to kind of further investigate, because again, this is going to go closer to Mars than any other planet
Hmm.
within our solar system. And just imagine like it shoots out like the perfect eight for each planet in our solar
Yeah.
system, and then we get one that comes here. It's like, oh yeah, look at these guys, and yeah, that would be insane.
Yeah.
Again, it's we talked about this last week or a couple weeks ago. It's reflecting light, so there's
Hmm.
other potentials there. Um, yeah, no, Avi's becoming relevant. This dude is
Yeah.
picking up steam.
There's a lot of people talking about Avi. I think I was listening to a Bad Friends podcast and they brought it up, and I was like, Tim, they brought it up and we've been talking about it for months. It's
Right.
crazy, but there is this one report. I gotta look through all my stuff I've saved on TikTok, Instagram, because like I say, I use some of that and then I sort of research a bit of it, but I haven't had a chance to. But I feel like I read somewhere that in the past they said in Mars there was alien life. There's actual life living in Mars. They're
Sure.
saying because it's passing so close to Mars that this is something that came out of Mars and it's finally making its turn back to our solar system. So, it could be something from millions of years ago that's finally reaching our solar system for the first time since it split away from Mars. So, like, if Mars actually had alien life, is this them finally doing their whole trip through our solar system in multiple solar systems to get back and sort of go to Mars, create life there with all their new intelligence, what they've gathered? Who knows?
Yeah, well, that would be insane because imagine Mars was exactly like Earth,
Hmm.
and then Earth is the later image of that, and then
Yeah.
Earth gets to a point where we create something where it we start searching for other
Hmm.
things, and everybody hops on a ship and goes throughout the,
Yeah.
different galaxies in the world, the
Yeah.
space in it of itself, and then comes back after a million years.
Hmm.
That'd be
Yeah.
trippy. And then you go back to your planet, you're like, oh, we're finally back, and it's like all the water's gone and
Yeah.
stuff like that. And you have to kind of reinvent yourself and
Hmm.
you know, um, with all the intelligence that they have, that would be insane.
Yeah.
Be like, oh yeah,
I,
we're
I,
here
I,
for
I gotta find it somewhere to sort of share with you. But
dude.
I read that and at first I was like, no. I'm like, that's just made up. But I'm like, it's getting so close to Mars that it could be pretty accurate. Like I say, I don't think I'm very
Yeah.
gullible and I'm not really falling for it yet. But like, we don't know much about space. We don't know much about aliens. So everything we talk about could actually be real. It could be very fake and all this could just be made up. Who knows, But until
Right.
we get evidence, it's like you got to think about it.
Yeah, no, for sure. That theory makes a lot of sense. And if I guess they start hitting the brakes once they get close to Mars, we'll know
Yeah.
that like, oh, this thing
Yeah.
has, the
Yeah.
brakes and gas and whatever. That would be insane. And then obviously, light only travels so fast. So if they're looking at us from a distance, they might still see dinosaurs here
Hmm.
because they're like, yeah, with whatever tech they have, they could be
Yeah.
zooming in on us and be like, oh, just a lot of pets.
Yeah.
And then hopefully they don't see us like that. And
Yeah.
then, in voila, no, it's
Hmm.
actual human life here now. And I did find the article here where Avi says, um, to kind of add to this too, it's going to pass the sun on Halloween Eve. So perfect time of year, of course.
Perfect. Like,
Yeah, let's add some spookiness to the season.
yeah.
And he says If we are visited by a technological object like Three Eye Atlas, it could either visit us or release some mini probes that arrive to Earth and appear as UAP. Imagine it's things already shooting it off, and that's what we already shot at.
Hmm.
You
Yeah.
know, but see, that's another thing too that, I saw some people kind of raise this question earlier
Hmm.
is why do we got to shoot at it?
Yeah.
Why do we got to piss it off?
Hmm.
Imagine it's like, that's just like a little fingernail,
Hmm.
I'm just trying to point out something small in the human body.
Yeah.
Like that's just a little fingernail of what that UAP is
Yeah.
attached to, and then it comes back and it's like, what the F did you do?
Yeah.
You,
You just broke me in
it's
half, like
yeah,
cracked me.
you stubbed my toe, you
Yeah.
son of a gun. And
Yeah.
then here they are just effing us up,
Hmm.
because we shot at it. It's like no movie ends well when you just start,
Oh yeah.
poking the bull.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's sort of like I said, this is going to be outrageous because with the point you're making, but it's almost like the new Independence Day. One of the pros that came in was here on Earth to help us fight the aliens. How about if this comet is more here to sort of support us, and they're like, hey, something big is coming in the next, hundred thousands of years, but we need to start prepping. Here's all the intelligence. We're here to support you, but you're shooting us down and we don't get a
Yeah,
chance to, or we're gonna be like, hey, you're shooting us down, forget you guys. Good luck.
that'd be insane. That'd be so crazy if that was what was that movie where because I saw it, I just can't remember the name of it, where they're fighting a future war and they had to go through like a teleportation in order to
Um,
get to the war.
it's the one with the Tomorrow War, I think, with
Yeah, Tomorrow War.
Chris Pratt.
Yes, that was a
Hmm.
great movie.
It was.
And just imagine something like that where they're trying to prep us and then they
Hmm.
have the tech to like send us like that. Man, that'd be
That'd be scary.
nuts. That'd be really crazy.
Because from that, nobody's safe.
No, no,
There's
because
no.
it's just inevitable.
Yeah, it's like you're gonna get drafted no matter how old or how hurt you are.
Yeah. God, that would suck.
Yeah.
Damn.
Let's hope it's not that.
Yeah, no, hopefully it's just like something like, hey, here's some ways to create,
Hmm.
food in an easier way. Here's
Yeah.
some healthier nutritional ideas.
Hmm.
Less McDonald's,
Yeah.
more grain. I don't know.
It could be.
Yeah.
But
Uh,
yeah. But a lot of this space talk, like I said, we've been talking about it for months, so hopefully people recognize that we're not just jumping on the trend. It's something we've follow, we look at, and we're going to continue to talk about it. And it's sort of crazy to see governments, you know, these Congress start talking about it because it just makes it more real, and that, what we sometimes have thought about that isn't real or could be fake might actually be legit.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
We kind of started with, fascinations on it and what could be. And I don't know. Let's see
Yeah.
come October. We're getting closer, John. But
Yep.
we'll keep the audience updated on this. This is something that we've talked about. This is like our third going around with Three Eye Atlas. So,
Yes.
yeah, just stay tuned. We got the info.
Yeah, stay tuned. But yeah, as we get more, we see more reports, we'll share about this. But that's it for today. Thank you to everybody that's been listening to us on TikTok Live, that stopped by even for a little bit. We appreciate it. Those on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, thank you for listening. Hit that follow, hit that subscribe. We appreciate it. And as always, leave those comments. We enjoy the banter, we enjoy the engagement. We don't shy away from any of it.
Nope. Like we always say, good or bad, we appreciate the feedback. And yeah, thank you guys so much for listening and staying tuned and following us on this fun adventure.
Yeah, yeah, we got some exciting things coming up in the next few weeks, so stay
Oh, yeah.
tuned. Um, and yeah, as always, have a great week. Enjoy week 2 if you're watching football, and uh, yeah, take care.
Peace.